So, Urmi, your father belongs to a medicine profession. Is he a
Yes.
doctor or a pharmacist or what?
So he's a pediatrician.
Okay, so you did not become a doctor. Usually, we see that doctors के बच्चे doctor बनते हैं. So you did not choose to be a doctor.
No, sir, I wasn't interested in the medical sciences. And since a very young age, I was attracted to the civil services as a profession. So this is the path that I took.
Okay, what was the attraction? The IAS officers who are corrupt, or the system of transfers in bureaucracy, or the politicians who are demotivating the young IAS officers like you? What motivated you?
So the wide array of opportunities that are presented to an IAS officer to bring about a positive social impact in society, and at
Hmm.
the same time, it also fulfills the need of self-recognition.
Hmm. So recently, your government has allowed the women of Kolkata to work in the bars, right? They've allowed the women to work in bars. Are you aware of this development?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of this
You're
development.
not aware of your state. It has happened in your state, I feel. West Bengal to allow women to work in bars. Bill has been passed in the assembly. Okay, I'm giving it to you. ठीक है अभी हुआ है 2 दिन पहले हुआ है that West Bengal you're from West Bengal right yeah so
Yes.
West Bengal has allowed the women to work in the bars. How do you see this development? Is it progressive or regressive?
Sir, I believe that women should be given opportunities to work in any field that they want to.
Hmm.
So, in that step, in that direction, I think it is progressive because women who voluntarily want to work in bars will now get an opportunity to do so.
But do you think bar is a good place to work for women? The opposition is crying about it.
So, I think a bar, by the very fact that bars are legal in India and are allowed, I think it is okay for women also to work there.
Hmm. So any steps taken by your government post that medical student rape case?
Yes, sir. There have been two tangible things that have been done by the government of West Bengal. First is that there was an Aparajita bill that was passed in the state assembly. It enhances the punishment for rape. And secondly, it also provides for fast track courts for dealing with such. So I'm sorry, sir, not fast track courts, but also it places a deadline on the disposal of such cases that come before the police. And the second was the Ratire Shati scheme, which means companion of the night. Under this scheme, a cadre of women volunteers will be created and will be put in places, in workplaces where women have a high rate of working at night, of doing night shifts also. For instance, in hospitals.
That other initiatives such as increasing the CCTV coverage at such workplaces and mandatorily wearing of ID cards during night shifts is something that is being done.
Who's Muhammad Yunus?
So Mohammed Yunus is a Nobel laureate from Bangladesh, and currently he is the chief advisor to the interim government of Bangladesh.
So is he demanding that Sheikh Hasina should be sent to Bangladesh? What are his demands?
Yes, so one of the demands of the government, the interim government of Bangladesh to India has been the extradition of Ms. Sheikh Hasina, who has sought like asylum here.
We've had a diplomatic hold that her nature is of a political prisoner. That is why we've not sent. And the other reason is that there is a political turmoil in Bangladesh and it may be threatening her security. Right? That is why we are not sending her. But should we sacrifice the relations with the whole country for a single person? This is my question.
So I think the stance that India has adopted is not for protecting one single individual. Rather, we will abide by the extradition treaty that is already in force between India and Bangladesh. And the treaty itself provides India can refuse to extradite a person if the crimes that are for which the person is being sought are politically motivated or does not or India does not feel that it is warranted.
So, what is the Gorkha land issue and what is the status? Is it being resolved? Are we giving them autonomy? Is the GTF functional? What about Bimal Gurung? Whatever you know, you tell me in crisp, short.
So the Gorkhaland movement is a movement for autonomy in the northern part of Bengal, primarily involving the district of Darjeeling, and it has the the Jan Mukti Morcha. And so the current issue in this respect is that it is now being administered by a Gorkhaland Territorial Council, which has certain autonomous powers.
And what is happening? Are we giving them this opportunity of autonomous councils under fifth schedule or sixth schedule, or how are we going to justify their autonomy? Is there any law for this, or a constitutional provision, or something related to this? Any executive action has been taken in your state?
So as far as I remember, it is not under the constitution, but it is under a law that has been passed by the state legislative assembly, and I think it was a tripartite agreement.
Okay, but why are they demanding such things? What is the need? Is Kolkata not treating them well, the Gorkha community?
So there were quite a few reasons for which the Gorkhas were demanding autonomy. The first was the cultural differences that exist between northern districts of Bengal and the southern part. For example, it is predominated by tribal communities like the Gorkhas, who have a very different language, a very different way of life. So they needed special protection for that. So second, if we also compare the socio-economic development of the two regions, Gorkhaland has some very distinct and peculiar challenges because of its hilly terrain, forested areas, border areas, and so on. Sir.
Have you been to Kalimpong?
No, sir, I have not been to Kalimpong.
What is it famous for?
So Kalimpong is a major tourist attraction here. It is a bordering district of Darjeeling, and I think it is also famous for its oranges.
What about the paragliding thing? Are you aware?
No, sir. Sorry, sir.
It's one of the huge hubs of paragliding. I have even done that there. Anyways, चलो आगे चलते हैं. गोरखा लैंड हो गया, अपराजिता बिल की बात आपने कर ली, women and bars की बात आपने कर ली. Now, Teesta has been politicized in both West Bengal as well as in Bangladesh. We've had more than 40 rivers, 40 to 50 rivers passing from India to Bangladesh. But why is Teesta the most contentious? And why is it not being resolved?
So the Teesta River is significant for both the communities in West Bengal as well as in Bangladesh because of the importance it has with respect to irrigation and agriculture. So, and with climate change and the drying of rivers, already the water flow in this river has significantly reduced. So, the West Bengal government, in order to protect the rights of the agricultural communities and the communities who are dependent on the water of the Teesta River, is reluctant to share it with Bangladesh.
So, what is the way forward? What would you suggest?
So, in the long run, we should move towards water conservation efforts in both the countries. And in this regard, India and Bangladesh can come together so that dependence on rivers which are being adversely affected by climate change gets reduced. For example, bringing innovative agricultural practices using micro irrigation techniques. And at the same time, on a bilateral level, there needs to be greater work towards solving such water sharing disputes or contentions, and also sharing of information on transboundary rivers.
So your father originally belongs to Bihar and your mother originally belongs to Jharkhand, and you people are currently living in West Bengal. Have you been to Bihar?
Yes, sir.
So did you feel any cultural shock? while going from Kolkata to Bihar or Bihar to Kolkata or Jharkhand to Kolkata, Kolkata to Jharkhand or Jharkhand, Bihar? Any cultural shocks?
So I would not say cultural shocks per se, but of course there were cultural differences. The primary differences with respect to language, the way people dressed up, the traditional style of attire. These were the things that I could notice. I have not been there for a very long time, so these were the things that I could notice.
So is your state applying, so your state, with your state, I mean West Bengal, is it applying the three language policy?
So, so according to the recent reforms that were brought by the West Bengal government with respect to education have been in line with the NEP 2020. And so I think we are applying the three language policy, and there has been no statement against it by the West Bengal government also.
So why is Tamil Nadu uncomfortable?
So the discomfort with Hindi, or the aversion to Hindi, as some would suggest, is because of the long history of Dravidian movement, which related Hindi and Brahmanism and Hindi and North India. Such a thing has not happened in other parts of the country, and therefore there has been greater acceptability of Hindi in other states.
So does the NEP 2020 talk about imposition of Hindi?
No, sir, it does not. It says that any three languages, not any three, one English language and two regional languages should be promoted in all schools. It does not talk about the promotion of Hindi.
It talks about that every child, every school, every state or every region has an utmost autonomy to choose any three languages to whatever they want to teach or learn to the child. Now, the only condition is that two out of the three languages have to be native to India. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Very simple. Very good. You've almost done that far. So, live-in relationships. Do you think that the Uttarakhand stand on the registration of live-in couples is a threat to their privacy? Is a violation of the Putta Swami judgment of the right to privacy of any individual? Do you think that the registration of live-in couples?
So I think the matter is already sub judice, and some people have challenged this particular provision of mandatory registration of live-in relationships on the grounds that it violates the right to privacy of the couples, because it not only mandates this registration, but it also makes it a criminal offense if the couple fails to do so. I think a good way forward in this regard would be making it voluntary.
But there have been a lot of instances where the couples have harmed each other. The boy has cut her into pieces and put it in the refrigerator, or she is given him a false rape charge ki jao 10 saal ab tum jail mein sado. And what about the children being born out of these live-in couples? The Honorable Court has already said that these children need to be be given the legitimate rights as the legitimate rights of the married couples. So considering all these scenarios, don't you think it's a progressive step? Yes, there might be contentious provisions, those could be eliminated. What do you think?
So this is exactly the rationale that was also cited by the Honorable Chief Minister of Uttarakhand when he was defending the provisions with respect to registration of live-in relationships. And I think the intentions are noble. However, there is also scope for misuse of these provisions to harass these couples. So that is why making it voluntary, and at the same time increasing awareness about these issues and encouraging these couples to register by making them aware of what benefits they would accrue.
So tell me one more thing, that does the police or the criminal justice system harass the married couples also? Because they also have what? They also have a marriage certificate. Their privacy has never been infringed by the police. Police doesn't come to their home. Police knows that they too are married. इनको भी तो वही स्टेटस मिल जाएगा. Okay, I want you to take a different stand here, Urmi. We can debate as much as we want and you could justify it. But देखो, सरकार ने एक पॉलिसी इंप्लीमेंट करी है. वो पॉलिसी तुम जैसे आईएएस अफसर बैठे होंगे होनहार, मैडम इंदिरा जयसिंह जैसे फेमिनिस्ट लोग बैठे होंगे, सीनियर एडवोकेट बैठे होंगे, रिटायर्ड जज बैठे होंगे, जो वर्मा है हाई कोर्ट का जो अभी कंटेंशियस बंदा है, तो ऐसे दिग्गज जज बैठे होंगे, चीफ जस्टिस रिटायर्ड बैठे होंगे, कुछ सोशल एक्टिविस्ट होंगे, कुछ पॉलिटिशियन होंगे, इन सब ने मिलकर एक पॉलिसी बनाई। क्या हमें एकदम से सर्टिफाई कर देना चाहिए कि ये बुरी है, स्पेशली जब वो पास हो चुकी है? नहीं। तुम ये बोलो कि सर यस द मैटर इज सब जुडिस, बट आई फील दैट इट इज अ प्रोग्रेसिव स्टेप विद अ प्रोग्रेसिव इंटेंशन, जो तुमने बोला। हाउएवर सर, वॉट एवर बी द कंटेंशियस प्रोविजंस, देखो अगर वॉलेंट्री करेंगे तो कोई भी क्या क्या नहीं करेगा, रजिस्टर नहीं करेगा। फिर तो वॉलेंट्री तुम बोल दो कि हेलमेट पहन लो, कोई हेलमेट नहीं पहनेगा। वॉलेंट्री बोलो सीट बेल्ट लगा दो, कोई फॉलो नहीं करेगा। वॉलेंट्री इनकम टैक्स पे कर दो, कितने लोग टैक्स चोरी करते हैं। तो इनवॉलेंट्री ही होना चाहिए। आई मीन सरकार ने अगर कोई फोर्स करा है रूल, तो उसका कुछ मतलब बनता है। इनफैक्ट एक और चीज तुम ये भी बोलोगी ना, सर इफ द गवर्नमेंट डजंट नो हाउ विल इट प्रोटेक्ट, इट कैन
Yes.
प्रोटेक्ट ओनली इफ इट नोज, अदरवाइज इट कैन नॉट प्रोटेक्ट। ठीक है?
So I have a question.
हाँ बोलो।
So can we say that at least making it a criminal offense to not register, this can be removed?
आप ये बोलो कि दे मे बी पीनलाइज्ड, या फिर उनका रेंट डीड, अगर वो रह रहे हैं किसी जगह पर, उनका रेंट डीड वो प्री कंडीशन कर दो कि आपको पुलिस रजिस्ट्रेशन चाहिए। आप ऐसा कुछ रखो ना, आप उनका बिजली का बिल नहीं या कुछ भी आप एक अटैच कर दो, कोई एक कंडीशनैलिटी आप अटैच कर दो। बट उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप, देखो मेरे हिसाब से तो प्रोग्रेसिव चीज है, प्रोटेक्शन तो होना चाहिए, कोई बुराई नहीं है। हाँ कुछ इसमें ना बहुत ज्यादा फूहड़ चीजें या अनपढ़ता वाली चीजें, कि रिलीजियस गुरु से परमिशन लो या अपनी पुरानी रिलेशनशिप्स का ब्यौरा दो, वो मुझे थोड़ा सा गलत लगता है। तो उसके लिए तुम ये बोल सकती हो सर यस दे कैन बी डेलिब्रेटेड। कौन डेलिब्रेट करेगा उर्मी? स्टेक होल्डर्स। कपल्स को बुलाओ, सिविल सोसाइटी को बुलाओ, हिंदू के एडिटर्स को बुलाओ, हिंदू में आर्टिकल चलने दो, उसका क्रिटिस टीवी डिबेट्स करवाओ, पीआईबी का से आप व्यूज लो, रिव्यूज लो, mygov.in है। आप ये सारी चीजें करा के नीति आयोग को बुला लो, आप ये सारी चीजें बुला के कर सकते हैं। कंटेंशियस प्रोविजन को रिमूव करना इज अ गुड थिंग, बट डज इट मीन दैट द लॉ इज बैड? नो, द लॉ इज नॉट बैड। और
Yes, sir.
हरियाणा में कितने कपल्स को मार दिया जाता है, खाप वगैरह ऐसे ही वर्डिक्ट दे देते हैं। तो कपल्स को तो प्रोटेक्शन चाहिए ना। अब देखो, क्या तुम्हें प्रोटेक्शन सिर्फ इसलिए दूंगा मैं क्योंकि तुमने मुझसे शादी करी? नो, आई विल नॉट गिव अ गर्ल प्रोटेक्शन ओनली इफ शी मैरीज मी। आई शुड बी प्रोटेक्टिंग हर इवन इफ शी इज नॉट मैरिड और इवन इफ द कपल इज लिव इन कपल। प्रोग्रेसिव है सोसाइटी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने रिकॉग्नाइज करा है, तो हम कौन होते हैं? वेरी सिंपल,
Mhm.
वेरी सिंपल।
Yes, sir.
आगे आर यू सेटिस्फाइड?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, यू शुड बी, यू शुड बी। चलो आगे चलते हैं। नाउ देयर वाज अ कैश ऑन द हाउस स्कैम, या कैश एट द डोरस्टेप स्कैम। जो जस्टिस वर्मा है, ही हैज बीन ट्रांसफर्ड टू द इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट फ्रॉम द दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट। सो नाउ अगेन देयर आर क्वेश्चंस regarding the judicial accountability. So what do you suggest? Have you heard about this news?
So, so when you mentioned cash, I thought this was some other case, but this one I'm
Just
not able to relate.
जस्टिस वर्मा के अभी तो घर पर कैश आया है, इतना सारा कैश मिला है उनके घर पर, फायर फाइटर्स में। एक हफ्ते से तो चल रहा है ये।
पता नहीं कैसे मिस हो गया है, नहीं पता मुझे सच्ची में।
अच्छा, कौन सा अखबार पढ़ रही हो तुम?
इंडियन एक्सप्रेस।
एक्सप्रेस पढ़ रही हो ना? तो एक्सप्रेस में तो होगी ना ये न्यूज। कौन सा जज है वो दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट का जो कैश के लिए फंसा है?
ऐसा कुछ मैंने पढ़ा, पर मैं इसके डिटेल में नहीं गई और पता नहीं, ध्यान नहीं आ रहा है अभी।
वन
Yeah,
सेकेंड।
I will read this. I will read.
तो मुझे भी मेरा हिंदू नहीं मिल रहा है यहाँ पर। आई थिंक आई हैव लेफ्ट इट इन द इंस्टीट्यूशन। सो कोई बात नहीं, यू रीड अबाउट इट, रीड
Yes.
अबाउट जुडिशियल स्टैंडर्ड्स एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी। ठीक है ना? बहुत जरूरी है कि हाउ टू रिमूव करप्शन इन दी जुडिशरी। यू रीड अबाउट इट, बहुत उम्दा आर्टिकल आ रहे हैं, बहुत बर्निंग बर्निंग इशू है। मैं आपको एक लिंक भी सेंड कर दूंगा, पीआईबी का और उसका, डीडी न्यूज का, और एक जस्टिस एडवोकेट साल्वे की। मैं आपको एक इंटरव्यू आई सेंड, ठीक है? रिमाइंड मी अबाउट दैट
Yes.
नाउ। What to do about the collegium system? There's a lack of transparency in the judicial appointment. What is your take? What should be the reforms?
So I think the collegium system has time and again come under the attack for various reasons. Most importantly, the delays that are associated with it and the lack of transparency and the lack of any executive say in the appointment of the judges. Uh, so I think in this regard, bringing back the NJAC with certain modifications, like including certain bar council members within the NJAC, I think that would be a good step.
Urmi, you did your graduation in 2023. It's only the end of 2024. You must be less than 25 and 21, 22, 23 years of age. You must be this age. Don't you think you are too young to be an IAS officer? You are very immature. Don't you think that?
Yes, sir, I'm indeed young, but I don't think I'm immature to be an IAS officer. So the very fact that I'm eligible for giving this examination, and so yes, I might lack experience or on-field or an understanding of on-field realities. But sir, I'm a very keen learner, and I would be eager to learn all the nitty-gritties of administration during the course of my training and serve as an officer to my fullest potentialities.
So, how does your age benefit the nation? You are young. So, how will you not be a liability? Why will you be an asset?
The first is that I would get a longer tenure as a civil servant. I would be able to put in more years of my life as a civil servant, uh, serving the nation and the society. And so, second, as young people, also there is this general perception that they're more keen to learn new things, be more adaptable,
approach, and with an increase in age, there's certain amount of rigidity that comes in. So young people are free from the past baggage or past prejudices that a little older people might have.
So, why has Bengal historically been very contentious and very revolting kind of society? You know, the roots of nationalism were also found in Bengal, and partition of Bengal was one major mass movement, which in future years defined the Indian national movement. And we still see there are a lot of protests in Bengal. Whatever, a small spark ignites and it becomes very protesting country or a very protesting. So what is it in Bengal that people protest so much and people are up in arms for their rights, for what they feel is correct?
So as you very rightly mentioned, the roots of such a rebellious nature, as you called it, or an awareness for their rights, can be traced back to the Bengal Renaissance or the Indian Renaissance, which the seeds of which were sown in Bengal by the liberal intellectual leaders like Rajaram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, even the poems of Rabindranath Tagore, which have inspired the people to stand for what they feel is right and also always be aware of their rights. This has led to a society to the present times even where the community is empowered and the community is feels free and liberated to voice their opinions in a very articulate and confident manner.
What was Tagore's idea of nationalism?
So Tagore was against the nationalism, the idea of nationalism per se, because he felt that nationalism, as was understood by people at large, was exclusive in nature or might also lead to militaristic or xenophobic tendencies, as was seen in Japan at that time, which had led to a militaristic form of nationalism. So Tagore was against that idea, but he felt very strongly for his nation and was for the idea of patriotism and an inclusive idea of nationalism based on integral human unity and the universal brotherhood of man.
And what is nationalism and how is it different from patriotism?
So nationalism is a strong sense of belongingness to a community, and this sense of belongingness can stem from common culture, common ethnicity, common history, and so on. And patriotism is just a deep sense of love and devotion that one feels for his country.
So which is bad and which is good? Which is positive and which is negative? Which is regressive and which is progressive? Can we differentiate them on the basis of these parameters?
So, in my opinion, both are very strong positive emotions and both are progressive in nature. Tagore, he was against nationalism only because he found that it might lead to xenophobic tendencies or jingoism, as it is called in recent times. If we are able to purge those elements from nationalism and uphold nationalism in its truest and pristine sense, then it is a very progressive and very positive feeling.
When does it turn into hyper nationalism? How do we differentiate between nationalism and hyper nationalism?
So hypernationalism occurs when our sense of love for the country is. So should I continue?
Yeah, please continue.
Yes, sir. So nationalism is when the feeling of love for our country gets transformed into hate or undesirable feeling towards feeling of people belonging to different countries or different communities.
Tell me, why is SEO important for India? Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
So the Shanghai Cooperation Organization helps India in its Connect Central Asia policy. And in recent times, India is trying to expand its footprint in Central Asia as well. And at the same time, it involves a forum whereby Russia, India, and China, the three major powers of Asia, are able to communicate and deliberate about regional issues. It is also a very important pillar in India's policy of multi-alignment.
No, but tell me about the aims of SEO. Na? How does it help its members? Very simple. Extremism, secessionism, radicalism, terrorism, it protects us against that as well. And intelligence sharing. वगैरह. तो वो
Yes,
उसका main कारण है. Now, let's talk about the electoral reforms. Why is there a controversy regarding the appointment of the recent election commission?
So the recent election commissioners have been chosen according to the act that was passed in the year 2023. Some points of controversy relate to the act not violating, but being different from what the Supreme Court judgment had laid down by excluding the CJI as a member of the selection committee.
Okay, you don't want to speak more. You want to be very tight-lipped. Fine. So, what do you suggest? Who should be the part of the committee that chooses the election commission for India?
Sir, I think the current composition of the committee will work fine.
Okay, means the two members of the government and one member of the opposition.
Yes, sir.
But then, don't you think this creates a conflict of interest? Because the people who are choosing, the people who are also regulating their election. So, does that not violate the principles of natural justice that no one shall be a judge in his own case?
So, the appointment of the election commission by the executive is something that has been laid out in the constitution itself. And before the act that was brought in, it was solely done by the president on the advice of the Council of Ministers. So this act is a progressive act because it also involves the leader of opposition and makes the process more transparent and inclusive.
Fine. So CJI being the master of roster, are you aware of it?
Yes.
So again, should we give it to one person to assign cases to a particular bench? There is a lot of scope of corruption. Do you think that?
So, I do not have the exact details of how the CJI distributes the cases among the various judges. But sir, I think for administrative purposes, it is necessary to have an authority who will perform these functions of distributing the different cases among the different judges. And the appointment process of the judges is also something that is very fair, and people who have the necessary expertise are only appointed. So I think there is not a huge scope for corruption.
Urmi, why is Nepal unhappy with India?
I'm sorry, sir, I could not get that.
Why is Nepal unhappy with India?
So, in Nepal, within some political sections, there is the apprehension that India acts as the big brother in the South Asian region and also with Nepal. This was the negative sentiment is something that has been fueled ever since the 2015 Nepal blockade. And at the same time, we also have some border disputes between Nepal and India, such as Lipule, Kalapani, Limpiadura. And so, one also very important reason for the growing tensions or unhappiness of Nepal with India is because of China's expanding footprints in Nepal through its Belt and Road Initiative.
Excellent. Do you agree that India promises but China delivers, especially in the neighborhood?
So, this statement is often floated in the context that India also has signed a lot of connectivity projects, but the pace of implementation has not been very fast. But it would be wrong to say that none of the projects have delivered. For instance, in Mauritius itself, we had the inauguration of the inauguration of the jetty and the airstrip on the Agalega Island, and there is work that is being done on the Kaladan project on the India-Myanmar-Thailand multilateral highway. Yes, we have lagged behind China, but we are picking up pace.
So let's face it, Pakistan is your enemy. Afghanistan mein you have no friend because Taliban was never your friend. Now you're trying to warm up with it. Nepal is in the Chinese camp. OBOR it has joined. Bhutan is too insignificant. Bangladesh is against up in arms, is also against you. There's a lot of political turmoil there. Sri Lanka very uncertain. Again, Chinese camp. Muizu came to Maldives in power with the India Out campaign. Do you think that the Act East policy, the Neighborhood First policy after 10 years has failed?
So in recent times, we have seen that India's relationship with its neighbors has undergone some turmoil, some disturbance, and has not been as we would have expected it to be. But sir, this is for the reason of domestic political changes or regime changes that have occurred in these countries. And so, you mentioned Mohammad Muizu. So, although he came to power based on an India Out campaign, and after a few bones of contention with respect to Indian troops on the island, later there was warmth and rapprochement between the two countries, which shows that India's role as the net security provider or the first responder in the neighborhood has paid dividends. And for example, in Maldives, the Greater Mali Connectivity Project. In Afghanistan also, we are engaging with Taliban, and we have infrastructure and human development projects there as well. In Bangladesh, we have seen a few tensions when the interim government has come, but because of the natural partnership that India has with these countries, I think in the long run, India will be able to secure a good place in the neighborhood.
Okay, so you won't budge down. You are an Andhbhakt of the government. So now tell me, that's fine. So now tell me, Balochistan. Recently, there was a train hijacked in Balochistan. And now Pakistan blamed India. That's their favorite pastime. They blamed India for the hijack. India obviously denied that we don't do such cheap stuff. Do you think now it has come, the time is ripe to play the Baloch card against Pakistan?
The Baloch insurgency is something that is an internal matter of the country of Pakistan, and it has been a long-standing principle of India to not interfere in the domestic affairs of any country. So I think there is no need for India to interfere in an insurgency that is happening in Pakistan.
But do you think Panchsheel has been followed by countries like Pakistan and China? So is there a need to follow Vasudev Kutumbakam and peace and friendship and neighborhood first with countries like Pakistan and China? We should, I think, have an offensive plan with them. Let's say offensive cyber operations, offensive covert operations, and we should also start, using these cards and hitting them where it hurts the most, be it in Gilgit Baltistan or the Dardistan region, the POK I'm talking about, or the Sindh Baloch region. What do you feel? We may have an element of realism with these countries.
So we have shown realism in our approach, and whenever these countries have been aggressive and tried to attack India, India has responded very strongly. In Pakistan, we had the Balakot airstrikes after the terror attacks in Pulwama. At the Galwan Valley, we also we retaliated with force, and we also killed Chinese soldiers there. And however, sir, in the long run, for the peace and stability of the region and the strength of India, peace is the only way forward. So instead of fomenting turmoil or disturbances in the neighborhood, I think we should work towards greater cooperation and greater integration in South Asia.
So, what is strategic partnership, Urmi? We often talk about strategic partner, but I, as a teacher of political science for the past 10 years, I haven't understood what is a strategic partner or who is a strategic partner. So I think you, as a young chap from Delhi University, I think, okay,
No.
University of Calcutta. So I think you could better tell me now. You have to tell me. Please satisfy me. I don't know what is a strategic partner.
So, a strategic partner is any country with whom India, I would talk in the context of India, with whom India wants to expand its ties in multivarious fields. For instance, in defense, in technology, in energy cooperation. So a partnership which involves cooperation, which involves multi-dimensional cooperation, and which is at the same time not a military pact, is something that would fall under the category of a strategic partnership.
Then why is Mongolia your strategic partner? I think Mongolia is also a strategic partner of India, no? Even
I'm
Afghanistan.
sorry, sir. I'm not aware if Mongolia is a partner.
So does MEA define you? MEA define what is a strategic partner? Ministry of External Affairs.
So I'm not aware if MEA has a particular definition for it.
You read more about it and do explain it to me, because I am unaware. मुझे नहीं पता. I really don't know who's a strategic partner, because जब मैं नया देश देखता हूँ, कतर आ जाओ तुम भी strategic बन जाओ, कनाडा तुम भी बन जाओ, मॉरिशस तुम भी बन जाओ. Why was the Emir of Qatar in India?
So he was on a visit and he had held a meeting with the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. And it was in this meeting that Qatar was elevated as a strategic partner, as you were mentioning. And so India and Qatar are boosting ties in recent times because India also wants a place in the Middle East. And through steps such as IMEC corridor, I think for these things, a partnership with Qatar is important. At the same time, Qatar is also the largest exporter of natural gas to India. So Qatar is also important from the perspective of energy security in the country. So I think for further boosting of India-Qatar ties.
Does your answer change if I ask you, why did Modi go to Kuwait?
So I don't think so.
Yeah,
So I
your
think
answer remains the same. And
Yes.
your answer will never change if I ask you what stakes do we have in Middle East. Very good. You negotiated it very well. स्टार्ट तुमने थोड़ा सा बीटिंग अराउंड द बुश करा, उसके बाद तुम बिल्कुल लाइन पर आ गए. देखो मिडिल ईस्ट क्या है, तीन चीजें हैं. सबसे पहला डायस्पोरा रेमिटेंसेस, एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी, तीसरा कनेक्टिविटी. बस
ठीक है. हाँ.
वेरी सिंपल. आप ऐसा मत सोचो, उसको ये नहीं लगना चाहिए कि आपको पता ही नहीं है. वो सिर्फ
हाँ.
आपको, मैं सिर्फ आपको परेशान करने के लिए कर रहा हूँ कि कतर यहाँ क्यों था. मैं सिंपली ये भी पूछ सकता था व्हाट इज द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ मिडिल ईस्ट, तो आप बड़े आराम से बता देते.
हाँ.
ठीक है ना. या व्हाई डिड मोदी गो टू कुवैत, सो दैट्स वेरी ऑकवर्ड टू आस्क. ठीक है ना.
हाँ. मुझे
ऐसा,
लगा कि क्या वो पर्टिकुलर कुछ रीजन ऐसे बताना है फिर.
वो मुझे भी नहीं पता.
हाँ.
मुझे भी नहीं पता कि क्या है. हाँ, एक चीज अब मैं पर्टिकुलर पूछना चाहूंगा. व्हाई डिड वी चूज इंडोनेशिया as the guest in our Republic Day celebrations?
So, India and Indonesia have had historical ties ever since the times of the non-aligned movement. And in recent times, Indonesia is also important through the prism of Act East policy, and also for the fact that the South China Sea has become a geopolitical theater, a very important geopolitical theater in recent times.
How is Act East different from Look East?
So very honestly, I will have to brush up on this a little.
Okay. Have we failed in Manipur?
So the ethnic violence in Manipur ever since 2023 is definitely a collective failure of society to bridge the ethnic differences that occur in such diverse societies as the Northeast. But so in recent times, there have been steps that are being taken in order to resolve this dispute, this issue. For example, the imposition of precedence rule, the stepping down of Chief Minister Biren Singh, the policy of making the insurgents surrender arms. I think we are gradually moving towards peace.
What cricket do you watch? T20, IPL, or do you call IPL a cricket first of all? And then what do you like to watch? Test cricket, one day cricket, or gully cricket, or what?
So not gully cricket, but the rest, everything I like to watch, be it Test, ODI, or T20I.
What is your opinion that don't you think that Indian players, when they want to play some crucial matches like Champions Trophy, I'm talking about Jasprit Bumrah, he gets injured, unfortunately. But then now he'll be again fit for the IPL. So should we have some policy that the players which are of the national importance, they should not, wear down their bodies in the IPL or franchisee cricket for some few bucks of money? What do you think?
So I think the IPL is not just a commercial venture. Yes, money plays a very important role in such leagues. But the IPL also provides the Indian players a very good opportunity to get well versed with the superstars of world cricket. And Jasprit Bumrah, because we were talking about him, was a product of the IPL. His talent got recognized in the IPL, and after which he got selected into the national team.
Very good. So would you make karate compulsory for the girls of class 10th and 12th, looking at the current security issues with the girls?
So I would say self-defense techniques, including karate, should be made a compulsory part of curriculum in schools, not just for the students of class 10 and 12, but from a younger age only. For instance, from students of class 6, I think it can be done.
And it will have additional benefits also. They'll not become obese, they'll become active in sports and everything. I'll give you a feedback, Urmi. देखो, तुम्हारा ओरेशन 10/10, तुम्हारा नॉलेज 10/10, ओरेशन को तो तुम 15/10 ही कर लो या 20 out of 10 कर लो. तुम्हारा आंसर का स्ट्रक्चरिंग अगेन 50 on 10 आई वुड से, बहुत अच्छा. तुम्हारा एटीट्यूड, तुम्हारा इंटेंट, तुम्हारी क्यूरियोसिटी टू लर्न जो दिख रहा है, तुम्हारा सारा चार्म एक इंटरव्यू का चेहरा हो तुम, आई मीन अमेजिंग, 100 out of 10. So I think you are going to score somewhere around 190, 195.